What it do, man? It's your boy Battle Truth coming to you live and direct from the Battle Truth headquarters. Let's get right off into this, man. Imagine if you were Tsunami Surf, indicted under RICO law, and you were just, for the first time in your career, on top of the game. All big things was opening up the doors for you. You was on a Rolling Loud tour. You was becoming to be the top dude in battle rap for the first time. Your money then went up and increased. Your popularity getting bigger and bigger. And just when it's all coming to a reality, it's taken away from you just like that. And now you locked up, missing your family, missing your child, reminiscing on how good things used to be. You got your homies and guys, and you have now found out that as a result of their actions and things, it also assisted in your indictment. Because what's being said is this: Surf was told on by people affiliated or inside of his gang. That's what led to his indictment. So the same crew and team he was sacrificing his life and family for was some of the same ones that gave the authorities the information needed to investigate him and bring him under indictment. Sort of like the 6ix9ine situation. A lot of people was offended in 6ix9ine telling snitching on Treyway at the nature of how he did it. Even though it was found out, what everybody knew, he was a coward, he was soft, he wasn't making no noise like that. For the most part, his music career may have played a part in financing the enterprise, which then brought it to a point of where it was found out and discovered that they were ripping him off, extorting him, robbing him, having sex with his baby mama and stuff. And he testified. Some people saw nothing wrong with it, some people did. But what if you Surf at this situation like this? What would you do? Realistically speaking, what would you do if you were Surf in this situation? Seeing that your team, your crew, you sacrificed so much for, was responsible for your indictment. Not that for the most part they did something and y'all all got caught up, but that some of them verbally sat down with authorities, agreed to cooperate, and dropped a dime on him. You come to the knowledge of this. What would you do if you Surf? Matter of fact, let's just listen to an interview Lisa Evers from Fox 5 News did with a criminal defense attorney talking about the snitching thing. Check this out.
This is what happens in federal prosecutions. Out of 15, 17 people, you can't say that 100% of them are comfortable with the exposure that comes with federal sentencing. Some of them may be, and they may decide, hey, I'm not going to snitch. I'm going to live by the codes of the street. But very much so often you have people who have families, who have other collateral considerations that they say, hey, I can't sit on 20 years. I can't sit on 25 years. And if the government is offering me an opportunity to give up information on all of my cohorts from the street, even though it goes against street code, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to give up that information so that I can be in a position where I can undercut the mandatory minimum and maybe try to get myself a sentence of 2-3 years. Tekashi 6ix9ine comes to mind.
Okay. when you're looking at what all you got to throw away, what's all on the table. We just heard the man said right now, at the least, he looking at 20 years at the least. He already in his 30s. So that's 50-something. That's 50-something already. That bring him to 50-something. Not including if they hit him with some more. And let's just be honest. They gonna hit him with some more. They ain't trying to sympathize with no black man. They don't care. You think they finna take it easy on him? Absolutely not. And you think the one that's telling on him and snitching on him finna lighten up on him? Once you agree to the terms of what snitching is, you got to go full throttle. Because the deal is off the table if you're not honest about a situation. And if they find out that you're not being honest, then all the deal is off the table. So you can bet whoever told and ran their mouth on surf told everything, okay? Told everything. Because they ain't going to do nothing but play on the recorder, put the recorder in front of them, kick back and let them talk. What you want me to say, sir? Everything. Talk until you fall asleep. We'll work out the particulars. When they bring in them sandwiches, and they bring in them sodas and donuts, and they let them smoke a couple cigarettes, they give them a pack of cigarettes. That's how much talk they do. They give them a pack of cigarettes, the whole pack. And once they take that first puff of a Newport and it remind them of crack and weed, they get real comfortable. So they belly full and they mouth is cool. That Newport, it's like smoking weed in there. Like smoking a pipe. And they tell it like it is. They gonna tell it like it is. His name was Rajon, tell it. He was 60s, tell it. They gonna tell it. And feel good about themselves after they tell it. Do you know that? They gonna feel good about themselves after they tell it. Because now they see some hope and light in their situation, knowing that it's not the end for them. And they hope that they told and did such a good job. They even gonna add some stuff that's not even there. They gonna add some stuff that's not even there. They gonna make it seem more than what it is. Like, yeah, we was making, well, how much y'all was making probably a day? We was making probably a day a good 15,000 a day when it really was 5,000-6,000. How much drugs y'all get in? Okay, I remember we went and picked up like 7 birds. Like y'all had 7 bricks. Yeah, it was like 7 bricks. See, they gonna put extra on it to make sure they giving more than enough to lighten their sentence. Even though it was only 2 or 3 bricks. Everything gonna be doubled. What'll you do when you surf and you're reading the documentation knowing that's not true? What'll you do? What would you do? Seriously, what would you do in this situation? I'm just asking. Would you tell? Do you care what the people think about you? Because I've heard people say stuff like, Surf tell, that's the end of his career. At this point in time of what you facing, do a person really think about that and really care? Do you really care?
And then at that point, start the process of fighting back against the government. Remember, they, typically being the government, have had a 2, 3, 4 year head start in knowing everything about this investigation, everything about your life. You don't know a thing. You don't know who's been cooperating. You don't know how you're here. So the courts are always going to give defendants the time to catch themselves up to a 4 year, 5 year head start that the government has had since the inception of the investigation.
So The next point for him, the spokesperson for the U.S. attorney said, for the prosecutors, said he chose to be detained, like he had a choice, while he got an attorney. So the next step would be, and that he has not entered a plea yet. So let's assume once he does get an attorney, what would be the next step for him?
What would be the next step for you? What do you believe his attorney would be telling him? Seeing all the things he charged with, seeing the very thing that he definitely know what he up against. Because let's keep in mind, them attorneys don't like losses on their records. These attorneys gonna want to strike deals. They don't want the losses on their record because it make them look bad also. They don't like losing. So guess what they gonna do? Try to cooperate with them. This is what his attorney's gonna tell him, like, hey, look, this is serious. A lot of people telling on you, okay? We could fight it, because, hey, you hired me. We could fight it if this is something you want to do. But my professional advice to you in this situation is this. You need to cooperate with the authorities, or you're facing life in prison. They already telling on you. They already beat you to the punch. This what led to your indictment. But however, they're willing to work something out with you. I believe it'll be in your best interest if you at least hear them out at this point. See? What do you wrestle with? What do you do in that situation? When your guy's telling on you, what do you do? When you probably the one was in a better position than they was. You got Mozzie, Benny the Butcher, Drake them, Chris Browns, 50 Cent, Kevin Durant, Joe Buttons. What do you do? Then you got a daughter. One child, only one child. What do you do? Would y'all be mad at him if he snitched, if it could give him his freedom? Seriously, all jokes aside, I know it's a lot of trolling, but I'm talking to the mature people. Would y'all be offended and served if he told that he could be at free? Would y'all be offended in that? Would you be mad at that? What would you do? Here's life in prison. You face life in prison, or you could tell on some of these guys to be home with your family. What would you do? Do the code of the streets rule over your family and your children? Do it. Where will one cross the line when it comes to those things? What will one think? What will one feel? Well, if he snitch, he's going to be in trouble for the rest of his life. How? How will I be in trouble for the rest of my life? I just get up and leave. I ain't got to stay in New Jersey. I just get up and leave and go somewhere else. NBA YoungBoy got up and left. He moved to Utah. Utah. So him and Karl Malone are only two niggas in Utah. Learn. What would you do though? I don't know. Would y'all be mad at him for that? They talked about how in this situation and in these indictments that takes place, that there is no statute of limitations when you active. There's no statute of limitations if you active. Because she was asking, how far could these indictments go? The defense attorney was like, it ain't no statute of limitations if you active. If you active, they can use anything you did in the past against you. It can go back. It don't matter how long. If you active. I didn't know that. I learned something off that. So ain't really nothing off limits unless you free and you never doing it again. But the moment you decide to do it again, now it can be held against you. I never knew that. And now you know. What would you do in this situation?